Probably need to, yeah, they need to repaint those. My plan was to go up past Inwood and explore all of the brooks. But the ozone said otherwise. So this is what he was telling me about. You know, I'm pretty sure they got to Bavaria had a lot of songs. All I remember is Europa, because that's all they would play on the Oasis. Well, no time like the present. Just temper. Where am I, maps? Let's see if you're right. My cottage. Let me get my bearings. This is the front of the house, but there's no markings. I really wish they would put markings up here, but I think this is pretty close. No, I hate how the mobile app doesn't tell me anything. The desktop app is so much better. Let me use that instead. Yeah, I know. All right, Google. It's like we couldn't determine your precise location. Yeah, no, you're no help. Okay, so that's where the church is. Yep, okay, that's Dresden. Alright, I see where I'm at. 3880. Alright. 3880. 3880. We'll need a bearing. Traffic sign maintenance. There we go. Man, why is it always so hard to find? Yes, this is my request. Take photos. And I bet you this is when everybody decides to come by and be stupid. Well, this is going slow, which means a lot of people are putting in tickets tonight. Well, take your time. It's not like I got anything else to do. Fucking app. Okay, here we go again. I thought it would be quicker to do the phone app, but apparently I was wrong. Hitting the button. All right, Dallas, nothing happening. I guess we're just not gonna do this. And it was working great, and then they did this update, and now it sucks. .3880 Walnut Hill, between Dresden and Coppage. Let me try upload photos. Unable to access files. So the Chinese took that away. They said, no, you don't need that. Never buy a Chinese phone. No, there's just a lot of people out there using it tonight. Now it tells me, oh, we don't have access, but you do have access. I just gave you access. 311 app sucks. So I'll just be creating a ticket later. Oh, this asshole goes by. Okay, we got what we needed. Nah, I just hate... That should have been quick and easy. And I heard someone say tonight that Dallas sucks. And I'm starting to maybe I'll have to change my title. Ironically, I put in a 311 ticket about the 311 system. I'm gonna have to see if I can find one of these. Alright. Looks like it's pretty simple to install. I'm gonna need zip ties. I mean, I have zip ties, but I just didn't remember to bring them in the cart. When do you want to do it? Next week? I could remember to get off my... There's so many things I gotta do, man. That crosswalk looks good. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this house. What's up, Pugnacious? Oh man, I'm gonna run out of battery. There's little girl again. Oh crap, it looks like she's got company. Did she eat him? No. What's up, girl? Somebody you know? Guess not. Nah, so you know, I have a plan, and then the world has reality. I said, let me get out here real quick. Let me do 6.5 miles. And the ozone said, nope, no you're not. I said, okay, let me go out here later tonight, and I'll just go walk this neighborhood real quick before the sun goes down. Nope, your neighbors want to talk to you. I'm like, all right. And I thought, to save myself some time, what I would do is, whenever I'm walking around, if it's not too hard of a GPS thing and I got to put together a whole report thing, just take a picture and send it in. Apparently that's like pulling teeth. Probably one of the easiest tickets I ever put together. I'm surprised that they responded so quickly. Maybe it was because it was a school zone thing. I put in a crosswalk for here, yeah. I didn't put a crosswalk in for... Oh man. So that's the next project. It's been one I've been having since March. It just takes time to get all the pictures and get all the things together and try to figure out how I'm going to put the ticket together. And the lady says, no, put them all in one ticket. And I was like, that would be nice, but you got to put an address down. So I'm thinking about just putting the school addresses down and then saying the crosswalks all along where the school is. 3 places that need crosswalks are TJ, Foster, and Cigaroa. But I guess I wanted to get technical. St. Monica also needs it too, because I guess there's kids that go there, but there should be a crosswalk here. They put the ramps in, but never bothered to put in the crosswalks. All these no parking signs are faded. Got an address written on there too. It's all faded. I want to say that's 4106. Curb was broken too. I guess I'll be just adding onto the pile. So they petitioned and got one put here in Ontario. So then you come up here and they did like a limp dick job of the crosswalk over here. Someone's still using the park. That's weird. Oh, I guess they're running. Well, they should have been a crosswalk here. Well, then they got the one there. My guess is that Santa Monica did that a long time ago. Oh, they played 2 Herb Alpert songs tonight. Never thought of those things as breeding grounds for mosquitoes. Crosswalk here. No crosswalk here. You know, there's a lot of assholes out here, like always. Wow, look at that. Okay, I guess it is. You know, like I said, the guy, the Dallas, what do you call that? Dallas Observer did one where they were talking about potholes, and I don't really care about what happens to the car traffic, but maybe I should because it relates to pedestrian safety too. This is Valley Ridge and Midway. What can I say? The guy inspired me. Like the Barachos even got to this place. Damn it. Oh, look at the cockroach. Palmetto bugs. I honestly didn't think I'd come back down here. Another good example. They put the ramps, they put the sidewalks. They decided the crosswalk wasn't really worth their time. Yeah. All right. No, this counts. So that recent rainstorm went through and all the see, that's Dallas though. Just cheaply did it. There was no concrete base that went in there. It's just stab it in there and forget about it. think I realized what was happening. All the kids are running around, getting their last hurrahs in before the school year begins. I just didn't realize this summer was this. For me, like I said, when I work, I'm just... I mean, I seriously feel like Rip Van Winkle. Somebody tells me something happened, and I just look at them like, what? I was like, yeah, they made a movie about that. I was like, what? In my feed, they say they're coming out with a War of the Worlds movie starring Ice Cube. And I was like, why? What was wrong with the one that Spielberg made way back in 2000? Or it's like, the one Spielberg made. And I was like, that was 2004. I was like, I get that it was 20 years ago or 21 years ago. That doesn't make it any... It was like, there's only so much you can do with War of the Worlds. They show up, tear up a bunch of stuff, we're powerless against them, and then what winds up saving us is the nature that we fight against. Message received. Maybe someone thought we needed one now that climate change is coming about, I don't know. I know I said I'd never call this one in, but yeah, I need to call this one in. Since I can't use the fucking 311 app, if it was perfect, if it worked the way it was supposed to, I would have had about 5 of them in just now. Just bop, 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 bop. It's telling me, oh, you have to give it permission to access your files. I was like, I gave it access to everything. So my guess is whoever wrote the WebKit only wrote it to work with a certain version of Android, and mine is too old and no longer works with the app, even though somehow it got the go-ahead to install. Because I did have to do that. I had to uninstall it and reinstall it after they did all of their stupid updates. Someone was talking about Mark Zuckerberg trying to come out with some glasses, I guess, that people can use to link them to social media while they're walking and give them all the information with AI. And I laugh at the stupidity because they tried that with whatchamacallit, Google Glass. What I would like the project to be is like I'm doing right now. I take the pictures, I can send 311 apps with my glasses as when I see it, you see it, and you know, tell the thing, hey, there was a TV show called Reboot. And in Reboot there was a guy named Bob, and he was a guardian. And he had this little multi-tool called Twitch. And he would just say, Twitch, take care of this, Twitch, make this kind of tool. And Twitch would do it. And I wish that we had that right now, like that. You would just have Twitch making the, doing the little thing and making it work. I should probably take that with me. Not a fan of the Mormons, but hey, even they don't deserve that. I got a trash can back there, but I wonder DPD would give me a hard time. Anyway, I wish that the way it worked was not some company trying to steal my information and give me useless responses and burn up in a bunch of the environment, but I would just have a device, look at it, and I say, hey, glitch, create 311 ticket, faded stop sign, use current GPS location, and glitch would just take care of it. But I don't live in a smart world. I live in a stupid world. So someone looks at that and they're like, nobody wants to do something like that. It's like, oh, I guess I'm nobody. Nobody wants small trucks. I guess I'm nobody. Nobody wants one bedroom, one bathroom apartments in regular, you know, or houses and townhouses and condos. They don't make houses for single people. You're just supposed to pay for an apartment for the rest of your life. You could get a townhome and a condo, but you also got to pay the HOA, which in some cases is more than the rent that you would be paying. I don't live in a practical world, I live in a greedy one. And because it's greedy, it's stupid. With greed, there's laziness, there's a lack of focus. With greed, you sit up on the ledge and you say, this is good enough. And you never strive to make things better. Anyway. Yes, I'm sure the other systems do, they have their own little flaws. But I'm not asking for a simple system, I'm asking for a working one. I'm asking for an adaptive one. An interactive one, a dynamic one. Boy, that's some shitty driving. He peeled out of there at the last second and got damn near collided with the... They're just not getting their gas lines fixed? I guess so. But they're just doing this one. Anyway. Need some daylight. We'll see. We'll see how the camera looks. And if it says, hey, you know, if I can see the signs and the ground, I'll just give them night photos. Call it a day. I got to come back up here in the morning. I love how Amazon, they said, well, you can take your $35 order back up to the UPS store, and they think that I don't want to be bothered with the hassle. And I was like, nah, thank you, Amazon. It gives me a chance to get some steps in. So I'll be back up here bright and early in the morning, drop it off. Yeah, it's faded. It's even cracking. Still kind of reflective. It's kind of nice to have that pole next to it though. There's no light on it, so Encore won't count it in the system. They'll count that one though. It'd be hard to put down an address, but I'll figure it out. Just trash, or looks like trash. Yeah, it's trash. Sorry, took your meal. Yeah, a lot of assholes here today. No, I was thinking to myself, maybe I'm out here too late. I look around, everybody's having a party, I guess. He looks just like Edward Herman. I was like, it's like, who the hell is Edward Herman? I was like, you know what? Do a YouTube search. I mean, do a Google search. Use the UTFG. I miss his voice and greatness. I figure if I'm going to die, this is the way it's going to be. Pinned under the wheels of some hot rodding teenager. One day I will become a statistic. The newspaper report will say erroneously that I was... It was in, what would they say? What would they call it? We won't call it what it is. Basically, I got massacred. They won't release my name. I'll get a little blurb in the WFAA, and then maybe 2 weeks later they'll expand upon who I was, and it'll be another little blurb that no one will see. That's what pedestrians get. Man, I never realized there were so many faded signs around here. Well, they're gonna get tired of me. I'm hoping to come up here tomorrow, but it looks like it ain't gonna happen. Well, now I know why the ozone's been bad for the last few days. I thought it was power plants. I was like, no, it's just assholes driving around. No, if I got like a trash can within walking distance, I will pick up trash and dump it. It takes, you know, it doesn't take me that much of an effort. I just got tired of, I'd carry the bag around with me and then the bag would just fill up, and then it was like, I guess you'll be taking this with you. But I guess what I hate about Dallas is that you're sitting here, and maybe it's like this in New York too and all these other big cities. We're not talking about somebody dropped a gum wrapper, maybe a little piece of cellophane or something. We're talking like entire 6-packs, garbage bags, car parts. Like someone just actively was working on something and then just left it there and just said, eh, not my problem. Not someone was unwrapping something and they just thoughtlessly dropped it. Something little. But instead, they are, like I said, something little, your brain, like there's just, it's a sign that your brain doesn't work right. It kind of doesn't work right. The bigger it is, the more it shows that you just don't give a fuck. I'd like to think that bag fell off of somebody's truck and maybe they didn't even know. But more than likely, I think someone just had a bag of trash and just said, eh, it's too much trouble to do X, Y, Z, and just threw it out. I don't know. It's okay. I know they're not going to leave this like this, but like they weren't even trying. You would think they would put the patch to where they used to put the patch where it's a hump. This has got big old gaps in it. They did not give two shits. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that those are like the males sitting in there in the middle. They're breeding now. I guess it's mating season. Put a ticket in. For another day. I know what I'll say. You know, if I come back around here again, I'll put a ticket in for it, but this is gonna be, there's gonna be a lot of stuff on this video, man. I mean, I got a lot of tickets. This should have been easy. Well, at least they fixed that light. No, I'm gonna end it at Shorecrest. I don't have enough battery. And to be honest with you, putting it, like I said, all the stopping and starting, we're gonna cut it short here. Plus the weather reports kept telling me that the ozone dropped down to yellow, but it still feels, like I said, I feel like I got cheated. Like they lied to me about the air quality. Could also be the fact that I didn't get a solid 8. I got, hey, go to bed, oh, wake up an hour later. And then go back to sleep. Wake up 4 more hours after that because someone else needed something else. I got maybe 5.5 hours of sleep. Today is the day where I got cheated. I got cheated by an Amazon seller who said that this thing would fit my computer, and it doesn't. I get cheated by the remodel. I get cheated by the weather, cheated by the city. Now the Dart folks are saying, well, we're not going to do as our cuts aren't going to be as bad, but we still have to make cuts. And if you look at where they made the cuts in Irving and like the southern parts of Dallas, Redbird and all that. And so they just said, well, you guys have to fend for yourselves. I don't think they touched South Dallas, and they definitely didn't touch north over there in Plano in that area. But Dart's head is going backward. They're going the wrong direction. Then they're talking about they're going to make the routes, they're going to cut the frequency by 15 minutes. It's going to go from 15 to 20 on the, so he could see me just now. The reflective thing is working on the back. Anyway, they're going to cut frequency from 15 minutes to 20 minutes on the buses and some of the light rail, and on the TRE they're going to go from 20 to 30. And you're like, oh, that's not a big deal. I was like, it wouldn't be a big deal if you didn't have to make like 2 or 3 transfers. Then you're talking about like 20 minutes to an hour delays for some people. You got to be to work on time, and suddenly you got to sit there and readjust your schedule. It took you an hour to get to where you're going. Now it might take you 2 hours. All of this to pay for that, like they talked about in the Strong Towns, the growth Ponzi scheme of Plano, Louisville, McKinney. All those people, they don't have the balls to raise the taxes on the people that live out there. So instead, they're going to rob the people in the inner city to try to pay for their infrastructure. Then they got nervous enough to talk about how they're gearing up for the 2026 FIFA. But I think with the empty suit in the White House and people boycotting the United States because of it, but because of that idiot, I don't think you got to worry about the FIFA here anymore. But I don't know, somebody around the world, they got some dumb soccer fans, so they'll try to come here and they'll have a miserable experience. Anybody who comes to the FIFA 2026 or the Olympics in 2028, you deserve what you get. This country will not be accommodating for horde travelers of any stripe. There's a lot going on. Like, I know you've seen my other videos, and I come out here at night, and it's 10 o'clock at night, and there's not really much going on. But tonight, I mean, they still had an Amazon delivery driver out here at 10 o'clock at night. And it must have something to do with next week. The school, DISD, is kicking off their school year. I saw that yesterday on the signs. They start on the 12th, which is a Tuesday, I think. Weird. Anyway, feeling more talkative, I guess. I don't know if I'm saying anything. Nobody watches the night videos. No one really watches the day videos either. I'm just not that. Anyway, though, I'm glad I'm not trying to get like 1 million views, and I just keep hoping I reach like-minded people. I think about a line. What was his name? He was like the senator. Maybe it was Thomas Dewey. I think it was Thomas Dewey or one of those other guys that, I think it was one of the guys that ran against Roosevelt. The way the line went was, he was talking to a female support voter who was supporting him. And she said, well, you've got the intelligence vote locked up. And then the politician's response was, well, I've got the intelligence vote locked up. It's like, if all I have is the intelligence vote, I can't win. It must be extremely frustrating for the highly intelligent people in this country that they've done their research, they've done their homework, they know how to guide the nation to the right way, and they have to rely on stupid people every election cycle so that they can keep things running smoothly. And they got fucked over by the dumbasses in this country. I guess that's pretty much it. That's what I can't reconcile. We got fucked over by the dumbasses of this country. I know I keep saying never underestimate the stupidity of the American people, but it's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to live through it. You're in this situation because somebody couldn't be bothered to pick up a newspaper every once in a while. I'm done. I'm gonna go silent mode. It's just weird to see these people in the neighborhood that they never took down their Christmas decorations. It's gonna take me a couple days just to get through all of this. It's gonna take one day just to go through all of the footage and pick out the problem spots. Then it's gonna take another day to take and rename all of that stuff, timestamp it, and get the map data, and then put the maps together. And then it's gonna take another day to put all of that in folders and then upload it. 3 days. There's at least 3 days worth of work here.
At Marsh. Wait.
I get tired of it, man. I get real tired of it. This guy's gonna run me over. Fucking asshole. Why are you out here? Man, there's a lot of fucking assholes out here tonight. What is going on? It's Tuesday. It's not... This isn't like Friday night in Deep Ellum. This is Tuesday night. So they didn't move the walker over there. That's... well, out of sight, out of mind, right? I'm thinking about what I'm going to say next Thursday if I get a chance to speak. If there's a lot of, it probably won't be a lot of people there. People have given up on this city, and I understand why. I really do. But at the same time, some people have given up when they haven't even tried. Like this right here is just something I keep trying to get rid of, and it just lingers. I wouldn't even mind if it stayed there if there was something we could do with it, like take out that kind of phone. It's not a bad idea, actually. Not a bad idea. I have an idea for an art installation. What it might do. Strong Towns has kind of inspired me. They're saying that sometimes if you can't get the city to take care of things, you can take care of it yourself. And so what I'm thinking about is I can give me like a bunch of wood, and I can build like a phone booth to put over that. And then what I'll do in the phone booth is I'll put a mannequin in a Superman outfit with the cape sticking out of the doors. Just something that when people see it, they're just like, what the hell? And they laugh a little bit. Now I know that I'll put something like that up there, and some of the mental deficients that live in this city will look at that and they'll say, you know, the way my fucked up mind thinks, how can I ruin this for everybody? So they'll spray paint it, or they'll take the cape off of Superman. You know, something stupid, but for like maybe a week, it'll be there as kind of a neat little thing. This has not been a great walk. And many times I've been through there, I guess maybe I just missed it, that window. Anyway, I got wet. It was refreshing, don't get me wrong, it's just I gotta go home in wet clothes. And it's not that humid tonight, so this will dry right off. No, it's only a few steps to do the right thing. Oh, it's that guy. That's the one thing about walking these neighborhoods on a regular basis instead of like trying out new routes all the time. Because I started to see patterns, and I started to see people that look familiar. And that's the guy from my Friday night ride. He lives over in that house. And I guess they got on him for overgrown vegetation, or maybe he just got tired of it. So he cut the grass all around his house. I don't know the whole story. But you know how you find the whole story? You go into the cockpit and you order a seltzer water. And maybe you strike up a couple of conversations. I just don't make the time to make conversations. Most of the time because the conversations usually come to me. That's one thing that the pandemic did, was a lot of extroverts are just dying to talk. And so they will engage you whether you want them to or not. What am I going to see in this back alley? Maybe I'll see that Papa Smurf looking guy again. Maybe there's a whole crowd. I don't know. But yeah, I get the feeling there was an encampment here at one point. And they fixed up the fence. There might still be an encampment there. Like I said, there might be the guy who can climb this fence easily. Well, I wonder what the logic is behind fire lanes. Anyway. Is that part of the guy's property, or is that city property? That's the things that I get curious about. There's a side quest over there. They keep that gate closed, fortunately. I don't know if it's because it's been hot or OHS has been aggressively going after guys, but they have kind of cracked down on a lot of the homeless stuff. Like yesterday when I went over there to 9718 Webb Chapel, normally I'm just trying to see if what all got tossed in the canal. And unfortunately I piss off the people that, you know, what are you doing over the camera with them lights, man? I'm just curious. I want to know what the hell's going on, and the reason it's good to be curious because I look up and they got limbs touching the power line. And then I looked at the map, and if that catches fire, it will take all of the apartment complexes with it. There's nothing there but dry brush. It'll burn quickly and easily. And that alleyway is connected to a couple of apartment complexes, and it wouldn't be nothing for it to just make that jump. It's an accident waiting to happen. Just one good strong storm, some arcing on the line, and then you got a tragedy. These are the things you can't unsee. I am so glad that I cut it short. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Yeah, okay. Inspector Ortiz took care of it. That's what also makes me think they're high school kids. Everybody keeps barking at me and yelling and shouting, and I'm not giving them the time of day. Hey man, I was young once. I'd be tired and sore from 2-a-days, knowing there was one last week, and so we'd go see whatever the latest summer blockbuster was. You go to Cinemark, the AMC Grand, or you would go to what's the other place? If you were just tapped out, you would go to the Dollar Theater over there at Northtown Mall. This kind of makes me laugh, is that there is an entire generation that never knew what it was like to go to shopping malls. I was looking at the Betty Boop looking VTuber, and she was mentioning that where she lived, they didn't have a lot of malls, or they were all dying. Here we had tons, man. You had Northtown Mall. You had Northtown Mall for poor people. You had Valley View for middle class. You had North Park if you were rich. And then you had the Galleria if you were ultra rich. I never went to them other ones, but I did like... So I kind of... Well, anyway. I don't want to give away too many details, but the bottom line is I have been to all the malls, either as a consumer or as someone working in the malls. I'm in the Grapevine... Was it Grapevine Mills? Whichever one had the Rainforest Grill. I've been in the Grapevine Mall twice. Like I've been thrifty, and so malls aren't really my bag. The only mall that I ever went to was Valley View. I take that back. I used to go to shopping I was big in Husky, so I went to shopping at Northtown. And then Valley View, I would go there because they had a Sears and you could buy Craftsman tools. And man, people have used the hell out of Craftsman, out of the Craftsman products. You would go back there with a broken socket, broken ratchet, and the guy said, just toss it in the bin, grab what you need. And you'd be sitting there saying, I don't know how these guys make money. And you say, you don't know how they make money, huh? And then there'd be a sale in the flyer, and it'd be like 20 bucks, you can get this set, this ratchet set, or you can get this screwdriver set. That's how they made their money. That stuff was all cheap, it was cheap, decent quality stuff. And so you could always go back there and get more because, you know, they had it for cheap. But they'd get you by selling the sets to you in those sales. Brand loyalty. I mean, we were a Craftsman family. I know there's some families, they're Mac Tool, and I can't think of the other people because I never bothered. It was Mac Tool and there was Craftsman. I don't know who else there was after that. I'm sure there's a mechanic or two that's like, yeah, he's screaming and might be screaming, there was this brand. And I was like, I didn't know about them. A lot of the mechanics I knew growing up, they got their tool sets from whatever was being sold at the pawn shop at that time. I don't know a lot of mechanics that just go out there and buy